I don't have a problem with Don Cherry making nice or getting kissy face with politicians. Cherry has come out in support, is reading Joe Warmington today in the Toronto Sun. And Julian Fantino, who's running for the Conservatives in the by-election in Vaughan, November 29th, is being supported by Don Cherry. Cherry has come out on his website, and he said, there's not enough words I can use to describe how much respect I have for Julian Fantino. That's what Cherry writes. Former OPP Commissioner Julian Fantino, Conservative candidate in Vaughan. Cherry writes on Fantino's blog that he's an honest, brave, and he's always there for the ordinary guy. He says he's a class act and someone who will never let you down. He tells it like it is, and what you see is what you get with Fantino, Cherry writes. One of the many reasons I admire him so much is that I know he will bring dignity, integrity, and respect to the Vaughan community. Now, some people are freaking out, Jeremy, that Cherry is supporting Julian Fantino. They're claiming he works for the CBC, he should be neutral. CBC saying, well,
why should it be neutral?
He's not on the news, and he's not doing it on Coach's Corner. I think Don should even be political on Coach's Corner. It's the world, according to Don Cherry. Let the lizard loose. Let him do it. Let it happen. Let it all hang out.
Listen, if Don Cherry wants to take it there, and if he wants to put his neck out there and go into the politic world and start talking politics, let him do it. I don't think there's one thing that Don Cherry can't handle. He was up for one of the top Canadians in history, let alone why can't he support everything that's going on in Canada? And that includes politics. I mean, Don Cherry has the right of free speech and has the right to support who he wants. People want to hear what Don Cherry said. Everybody tunes in every Saturday night to hear what Don Cherry has to say. Why are they trying to limit him what they can talk about now?
I agree. And joining us is the recipient of that Cherry love, Julian Fantino. Mr. Fantino, thank you for joining me.
Good morning. Thank you.
Well,
Good
look,
morning.
you got a big kiss from Don. Lots of praise on your website. I don't think there's anything wrong with a public figure like Don Cherry, CBC construction or not, coming aboard your campaign.
Well, I don't think any of us check in our rights as Canadian citizens to stand up for what we believe in, and I can well appreciate that some people wouldn't like it, but if the shoe is on the other foot, they don't seem to be complaining. I'm not complaining about anybody else getting endorsed But my relationship with Don Cherry goes back a good long time when Don, in his very early years, took time out of his busy schedule and family and so forth to come and help us with Woodbridge Minor Hockey, fundraising events for the Hospital for Sick Children. I can go on with a litany of outreach and support that he's given me and minor sports, minor hockey especially. The time he has spent signing autographs and talking to children and whatever, he's an icon. And I've been very proud and honored to have been his friend for these years. And the other thing, too, I should tell you is that he's a real Canadian. He's an icon. I mean, his passionate support for our men and women in uniform, law and order, and the kinds of things that I think all of us clamor for in terms of our principles and our beliefs as a Canadian society. I mean, come on, folks, get a life.
Well, the issue.
I'm so glad you said that. I'm so glad that you said it because that was where I was going. Where do people get off telling other people what they can and can't do? What is it going to give somebody a little bit more edge on a win? In the States, celebrities are in droves supporting Obama. They were in droves in supporting Reagan. They should support you and other people that they feel that they should. And you know what? They are on television. They should use that vehicle to help push the people that they support.
I think Cherry should support you on Coach's Corner. You know why? Because I'd like to see all the bleeding heart liberals freak the frig out and just go absolutely ape crap over Cherry. Look, CBC star Suzuki supported Stéphane Dion's policy with regards to global warming. So why can't Don Cherry support Julian Fantino? I don't understand why there's a double standard. If a CBC type supports somebody on the left, and Stéphane Dion was pretty far on the left as far as the liberal political firmament is concerned. So why I don't understand why a double standard exists, Julian Fantino. Can you explain it to me?
Oh, absolutely, I can. This has been an awakening for me after some 42 years in public service, having decided to get into the political world, if you will, for all the right reasons, I believe, and convinced. I find that there's a sense of entitlement that certain people feel they are owed something instead of believing in the democratic process and let the public decide. Let it all hang out. What is there to fear about having anybody step forward and speak their piece? This is Canada. It's not some banana republic, for God's sakes. And moreover, when you listen to what's going on, in my campaign at least, there's I guess panic is setting in. So you get all these Sidewinder missiles being thrown at you. But you know what? I have great faith in the integrity and people's belief in what's right or wrong, and I live with that. But I guess it's panic. That's what it is.
So the Liberals are worried that they're going to lose Vaughan, that they've held for a while. The by-election is November 29th, and I think Cherry gives you an edge, Julian Fantino.
Well, God bless him for being who he is, regardless of my relationship with Don Cherry. I've seen him in circumstances where those who pass judgment have no right, no entitlement, couldn't clean his shoes, actually. And he's a great Canadian, aside from my relationship with him, and he should be praised for standing up, for speaking and saying and putting forward positions that all of us who are reasonable people, I think, believe in.
That's former OPP Commissioner Julian Fantino joining us too, Jeremy Roenick. JR, I want to introduce you to somebody. Joe Warmington wrote this story that prompted my discussion this morning. Fantino has Cherry on board is Joe Warmington's column in today's Toronto Sun. I want to give you credit for that. Thank you as well, Joe, for this story.
Yeah.
It's a good piece.
Thanks for coming on after writing a piece. You have a lot of people won't do that.
It's great to be on with you guys, and I hope you break the story that the Liberal candidate is going to get the support of Stephen and Chris today from the CBC to try to match this, and it's going to be pretty exciting. This is just sour grapes, if you will. I mean, anybody that wants to complain about in a free society about this is just nuts.
You see, I've got no problem with David Suzuki supporting Stéphane Dion, former federal Liberal leader, on the global warming issue, because that's an important thing. And I think that global warming should be depoliticized anyway. So, but, Suzuki speaking up, and that's fine. Cherry speaking up, I have no problem with that.
Andrew, I agree with you, what you said about Coach's Corner. We're in the public forum, and, the three of us, this is what we do. And Jeremy from the American side, he mentioned about the celebrities speaking out during the election for Obama and the like. If we don't say how we feel and we couch everything, then we become a sanitized society, and that's happened an awful lot.
I want to see more people. Julian Fantino joins me. So does Joe Warmington, the columnist in the Toronto Sun that brought up the story. Fantino's Cherry on board. Jeremy Roenick, of course. Look, I want to see more people politically engaged, and I want to see sports stars. I want to see executives, media types talking about this to get people more involved in important decisions. And why pretend you don't have a political opinion? Okay, you're going to piss some people off. Well, not everything Cherry says people necessarily agree with or like. That doesn't mean you don't listen to him. That doesn't mean you don't enjoy him. You might not share Cherry's political beliefs, but I want to know what they are, whether I agree with them or not. Julian?
Well, absolutely. I mean, as I pointed out earlier, we just because we move on to a position or have employment of sorts, it doesn't mean that we check our rights as a Canadian citizen to stand up and speak for our beliefs. And you know what? I find it very difficult. It's almost desperation on the part of some people to be picking away at these kinds of things.
You mean the Liberals, right?
Well, of course I mean the Liberals. My God, I've never seen anybody in panic mode like this. I've faced people with loaded guns that I have more confidence in.
Oh, great.
Oh, boy. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Julian Fantino. Good luck with your campaign. November 29th is the by-election. Julian Fantino, former OPP commissioner, representing the Conservatives in Vaughan. Very interesting. It's been a Liberal stronghold for a while. Looks like Fantino might be able to pry that one loose. Don Cherry supporting him on the website. Warmington writing about him in today's Toronto Sun. Fantino is Cherry on board. Thank you, Joe, for that. I appreciate it.
Oh, it's great to be on with you guys.
Thanks for coming aboard.